Hey everybody, how's it going? I know it's been a long time since I made a video, but I've been busy buying a microphone, so no more can anybody complain about the audio on these videos because I have a microphone. Because you had to be a big shot. I've seen so many people. I don't have the headset yet, which I think completes the ensemble, but I do have a microphone. Because you had to be a big shot. Anyway, enough with the boasting. Do you have a microphone on your channel? Because you had to be a big shot. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I have a microphone. I don't know if you can see the microphone now that I have, but I now have a microphone.
You could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up.
Anyway, happy Halloween. Hope you guys all had a great Halloween last Friday.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
The records have been piling up here in my old man cave, and so I wanted to share some of the purchases that I've picked up in the month of October, since I haven't done a video since I think very early in October, but nonetheless, been out to some record shops, done some shopping online, and thought I would share some of my haul.
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
First record I picked up, and I'm starting to compile a discography for this band, but when I was in Buffalo this past summer, I picked up their third album, and I finally grabbed this one. I'm talking about Night Ranger and Midnight Madness. I did contribute to that book with Tim Derling, although honestly, I did not have that much Night Ranger in my collection, but I'm trying to rectify that. I'm kind of realizing, yeah, I do have a bit of a nostalgic taste for Night Ranger, so I grabbed this in fantastic shape, I might add. Got a 12-inch single here that I never thought I would see, just because it's kind of later era New Order, but it is this. It's a song that they did for England's soccer team, football team, and there's a couple of remixes on it. Not my favorite New Order song, but it's still kind of a novelty. A cool thing to have. This was in between the Technique album and the Republic album.
Gazza, tell me about the training and how preparations are going for the big match coming up on Monday. How are things going?
Well, that has absolutely nothing to do with the record.
Come on, we want to know about the football for one league.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're playing as well as the record, then obviously we'll do well.
It's a good line. We wish you lots of luck. Here it is, Britain's #1, England, New Order.
They put this 12-inch single. I'm a big fan of British invasion rock and roll, so I picked up a couple from one of my favorite British invasion bands, The Hollies. This is their U.S. album, still in the shrink, still with a price sticker. Somebody paid $3.79 for the mono copy of the U.S. release of Stop, Stop, Stop by The Hollies. I don't remember what this was called in the U.K.
That has absolutely nothing to do with the record.
But it is on the Imperial Records label. I love The Hollies, their harmonies. They had some of the best singles of the 60s.
It's a good line.
And then I also grabbed this one, which is Dear Eloise, King Midas in reverse. And this has the two aforementioned singles on here. And I'm not really all that familiar with much else on here. I think this album is called Butterfly in the UK. So very excited to spin this one. And I got some, I think this is called Psychobilly. I only had one record by this band, but now I'm starting to expand my collection of theirs as well. I'm talking about the Cramps. And I apologize for this glare here. Hopefully you can see this okay. I got to do better about the lighting. But this is their album, Flame Job. And I think this was a 1996 release. This has the Ultra Twist single on it. The Let's Get Fucked Up song is very cool. But yeah, kind of a mix of rockabilly, punk, kind of a harder edge punk here.
The Cramps.
I think this was an early 90s release, Stay Sick, with Goddamn Rock and Roll, Goddamn Right, The Creature from the Black Leather Lagoon. Some of these titles are fantastic. Journey to the Center of a Girl, Mama Ooh Pow Pow, Saddle Up a Buzz Buzz, Mule Skinner Blues, Her Love Rubbed Off. And they even have a couple of live versions on here. Bikini Girls with Machine Guns. There's a live version of that on here. I know this is a re-release. It's on the Big Beat record label. And then to round things off, I got their 1986 album, A Date with Elvis, named after Elvis's own album from, I think it was the late 50s when he got out of the Army. But you have the Cramps looking very cool on the back cover. And this is a lot closer to rockabilly than some of the releases that I showed before were. But very cool. I love this record. And it's kind of all over the map, but it's still very much punk with a rockabilly edge to it. Or vice versa. But anyway, love the Cramps. Glad I've been picking up more of their stuff. Got a 12-inch Duran Duran single. Can't believe I found this out in the wild. This is a UK 12-inch single for My Own Way, but the reason to really buy this is for the B-side, Like an Angel. The mix on here is not the mix that you hear on the Rio album, incidentally. It's kind of more like a disco, sweeping strings kind of a remix, which I'm not hugely crazy about, but like I say, the B-side, Like an Angel, is very killer. Glad to find that out in the wild. And then I've been building up my Fleetwood Mac collection thanks to Tim Derling. I started to get inspired to check out more Fleetwood Mac. I had some of their early stuff on CD, but I wanted to grab it on vinyl, so you got Fleetwood Mac's Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac's debut album here. These are all, well, these next couple are represses, by the way. And Mr. Wonderful. Mick Fleetwood himself and his leafy loincloth there on the back. But yeah, if you love like British blues classic, like electric blues, this and the release that I just showed, their debut album, are fantastic. I really love that older, like that British electric blues. I love the Stones. I love the Yardbirds. I love that 60s. I don't know what kind of blues you want to call it, but
It's a good line.
great stuff. And then their third studio album, Then Play On. My only disappointment is Oh Well Part 1 and 2 was not on here. It was on the American version, but this release conforms to the UK track listing, but I'll have to figure out another way to get it. I have a CD of this that does have Oh Well Part 1 and 2 on it, but I think you can get a greatest hits with that song on it. But Although the Sun is Shining is another favorite here. So this is where they're kind of moving away from being strictly a blues band. I think you got Jeremy Spencer starting to assert a little more songwriting here as well. But just a great, great record. And their first without Peter Green, Kiln House. This is actually an original release. It's still in the shrink. I was kind of debating, like, it's a gatefold. Do I want to remove the shrink? Should I just leave it on because it's an older copy of this? And I kind of want to preserve as much of the original packaging as possible. But at the same time, I would like to see the gatefold. Although having seen the gatefold, it's not something where I would entirely miss it if I never, got to view it this way. So I don't know. What would you do? What would you do if you had an album this old still in the shrink? As of right now, I'm leaving it on here, but yeah, anyway, Danny, I forget what his name is, Danny Kerwood or something, and Jeremy Spencer, I think, were the two big creative forces for this album. Christine McVie, I think this is her first official album as a member of Fleetwood Mac, and she also did the illustrations. Look at that. She could have been a storybook writer, like a picture book writer. That is fantastic. And then I picked these up in the wild. These are also not original, or that one was not an original release. That one was an original release. This is an original release also. Penguin, which had Dave Walker on vocal, the only Fleetwood Mac album with Dave Walker, who Dave Walker, if you know, was very briefly considered as the lead singer for Black Sabbath when Ozzy left the band. I believe it was after the Technical Ecstasy album, if I've got my timeline straight. They had Dave Walker do a couple of demos with Sabbath on vocals, but then Ozzy came back, and that was the end of that experiment. But he's the vocalist here, and he's kind of he just doesn't really fit that well with the Fleetwood Mac sound. He's got kind of more of a raspier, bluesier type vocal, which is, they were moving away from that sound anyway. I think Bob Welch was on here too. He and Christine McVie were the dominant songwriters during this period of Fleetwood Mac, but pretty cool there. This is a reissue, although it's not that difficult to find, but I just wanted a clean copy of it. Mystery to me, where definitely Bob Welch, this is probably his most impressive album when he was with Fleetwood Mac. Love some of the tracks on here. My favorite is Somebody. Love the guitar riff on that. The City is great. Miles Away. Side 2 is way better than side 1. And I know the Christine McVie stuff on here is okay. I'm not blown away by it. I like the Bob Welch songs better. But anyway, very weird album packaging. I think that's people's biggest complaint with this. But this is a Rocktober reissue. And then some Monkees. I picked up the Rhino hi-fi version of this a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if this is individually numbered or not. I know it's kind of like a limited release or whatever. But my favorite Monkees album, I've decided, sounds great. At least I thought that was going to be my favorite sounding record. However, just this past weekend, I found a Japanese press. It sounds amazing. By far better than the CD, better than the Rhino. This is the version I have, and I wasn't expecting to be blown away because it was a 1980 reissue, but it's got a different back cover, and there's also lyrics. There's a lyric sheet in here, which I thought was very cool. But this sounds freaking incredible. And then I got the debut album by the Feelies from 1980, and they were a band. They sound like, if you like the Modern Lovers or the Buzzcocks, I hear a bit of Lou Reed in the vocals on this record, but very much kind of introducing. It made possible for bands like REM, like that whole guitar jangle pop thing to really catch hold in the 1980s, but very innovative. innovative. I want to say they also remind me a little bit of Gang of Four. But right in that whole arena there. This reminds me a little bit of the Weezer cover, kind of. It's blue, and you have like their stark pictures there. I don't know if that was in any way an influence on Weezer, but love this album. It's called Crazy Rhythms, and I have another Feelies album on order as well, but loving that record too. They do a cool cover of Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except Me and My Monkey. Anyway, that's my haul. That's my microphone. How'd it work? Hope you're doing great. Hope you get a microphone soon. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Hope you're doing great, really, sincerely. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. Gonna be here before we know it. Hope you're having a great weekend, and take care.